We're back with the Lackluster channel, one of my favorite body cam channels on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel at Lackluster on YouTube. This one says, Sassy Lady Cop is getting sued. I love when we find these videos of the cops getting sued. Let's see what this sassy officer had to say.
I don't have to help you in your investigation. You can't demand ID when you can't articulate a crime that you think I've committed.
Yeah, you've been free to go this whole time.
She told me I've been detained.
You understand that she's just trying to gain your compliance, right?
You can't bully people into giving ID when you don't suspect a crime.
Sure. Nobody is trying to bully you into anything.
She just told me she could take me to jail if I don't give her my ID.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. On January 5th of 2024, Mr. Bulldog was riding his bike in Jacksonville, North Carolina, stopping at times to take video of various locations on foot, just around the corner of the city's police department. Jacksonville police officer Ashley Glantz pulled up claiming calls were made concerning Mr. Bulldog's activities.
Excuse me?
How you doing, sir?
All right. How can I help you? Is there a reason I'm doing a job? Yeah, to make money.
Okay, people have just been calling, just thinking it's kind of weird.
It's journalism.
She looks so young, bro. She looks so young.
I'm sorry.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's protected under the First Amendment, so.
I'm not saying you're not.
Sorry about that.
All right, but hold on. Hold on.
Am I being detained?
Yeah, right now.
For what? For which crime?
So I'm further investigating why you're walking around.
What crime? That's not a crime. Walking around isn't a crime. You have to articulate a crime before you can detain me. Supervisor.
Supervisor, okay.
Yep. You can't detain just anyone. You have to articulate a crime.
I can detain
You're
you
incorrect.
while I further
Get your supervisor and let's find out.
Okay.
Okay. Name and badge number.
Officer Ashley Glantz, you dispatch your supervisor. Badge number 861.
Thank you.
Do you have your ID on you?
I do not.
Can you dispatch a supervisor to my location?
Big name. What's up, bro?
So, I'm assuming he's the one that complained?
No. I don't even know who complained. It came out as anonymous.
This is a constitutionally protected activity, so I'm being harassed right now, basically.
My neighbors are calling me saying, hey, there's some dude running around.
Recording.
So
Yeah.
I showed up because I'm like, okay.
In public, on a public sidewalk.
Sir, I'm not saying you're not.
You
allowed to
are.
record
You
it.
are. By your presence here
Okay.
bothering me while I'm working is telling me I'm not allowed to do this.
Okay. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Okay.
But I am investigating why we're getting calls about someone walking around.
Walking around isn't a crime, though.
I never said it was a crime, but I
So
still
you
have the right to
no,
detain.
you do not.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm being illegally detained right now, is what you're
That's what
telling
you
me.
want to say?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Awkward.
So you are failure. You're not identifying yourself. You're refusing.
What crime have I committed?
So at the end of the day, if law
It's not the end. This is the beginning.
Listen to me for a sec. So if law enforcement requests your identification, right? Your name, your date of birth, your ID card, your driver's license number, you are obligated to give that to law enforcement.
No, you're not.
Okay.
In the United States, reasonable suspicion is required for a lawful detention, but the law requires more than a subjective hunch or unparticularized suspicion. It must be based on specific, objective, and articulable facts, rather than on broad or subjective impressions.
People have just been calling, just thinking it's kind of weird.
They must point to a specific behavior that logically suggests a possible crime. For instance, someone loitering in a high-crime area at night might be suspicious, but without more specific behaviors indicating criminal activity. This alone is not enough for reasonable suspicion, which means this detention is unlawful and a clear violation of Mr. Bulldog's rights protected under the First and Fourth Amendment.
Not unless you can articulate a crime.
So I can articulate that this
Walking
is
around is not
behavior.
suspicious. Isn't a crime.
Okay, but it is something we have to investigate.
It's not a crime, so I don't have to comply with anything. I don't have to help you in your investigation.
Okay. Well, I am asking you to identify yourself. You are refusing.
Haven't committed a crime.
That doesn't matter. You
It
still
does
have to
matter.
identify.
No, I.
It's amazing how they don't know their own the laws, bro. I'm telling you that. Lackluster is a great channel. Absolutely. They make great body cam videos. Absolutely. And their channel blew up, man. I followed them when they were at like less than 100K. Now they're over a mil. It's crazy.
Do not.
Okay.
You are incorrect.
Okay.
Well, you're about to learn. I hope this is your supervisor. He's about to school you if it's your actual supervisor.
Okay. How are you, sir?
Let's see how this plays out.
All day.
I just got here.
Oh, I'm trying to hit my day.
Right. That's not my supervisor.
That's not going to help then.
requested a supervisor.
It has to be in a timely manner. You understand that, right?
I understand that
Okay.
the city of Jacksonville is quite large.
It's
and we
not.
have-
It's not. It's not large at all.
Roughly 5 minutes into the detention, Officer Glantz speaks to her supervisor over the phone.
I'm getting a phone call from my supervisor. You're still not free to leave.
We'll see.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, he's at Gum Ranch in 17, so he is on his way.
To tell you that you're violating my rights.
Not what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay.
I'm walking up and down the street
Okay.
doing a protected activity,
Okay.
and you stop me and demand ID for no crime.
So, like I explained to you, we've gotten multiple calls.
Suspicious isn't a crime.
Okay. That gives us something to investigate.
It does not.
further.
When you cheat on your police
can
exam?
Investigate all you want, but you can't demand ID
Yes, I
when you
can.
can't articulate a crime.
Man, it's crazy, bro. We see this time and time again how these officers don't even know the law and apply it properly. It's almost disingenuous, if not outright just ignorant to how it works. How do you get in this position and not know the circumstances under which you can detain somebody and reasonable suspicion versus just, all of that. And we have these situations like this. So many of these videos we watch are on the channel. We see this time and time again. They just don't know the law, or they just willfully ignore it because they have the badge, they got qualified immunity, and they just run with whatever they want to run. And then they kick the can down over to the DA, who then has to then decide, we're not going to prosecute this. This is a bullshit waste of our time. Or no, this is going to lead to a lawsuit. And then we, the taxpayers, end up paying for their dumbass mistakes or just outright ignorance.
That you think I've committed.
I never said you committed a crime. I said.
So then you
we
have
are
no right here.
investigating your suspicious behavior. While we're
Suspicious
doing
isn't a
multiple calls.
crime.
You have to identify yourself.
I do
to
not.
leave. Okay.
Suspicious is not a crime.
I see so many cops that willfully
Name and
ignore
badge number,
laws.
please.
Yeah.
My name's Corporal Tim Bureau. My officer number is 674.
Thank you.
The Jackson Police Department.
Thank you.
You live around here?
I'm not answering any questions.
Okay. Well, you have a nice day then, okay?
Thank you. Am I free to go?
Supervisor.
You
So
did?
who's waiting for police?
Yeah, you've been free to go this whole time.
She told me I've been detained
Oh, okay.
twice now. So I'm detained?
Well, you want a supervisor?
Am I detained?
I'm trying to identify you.
That's not happening. Am I detained?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm trying to identify you.
That's not my problem. I don't have to further your investigation for you. That's your job. So if you want to find out who I am, you go run photo arrays, whatever you want to do. Apparently you have no idea how it works. You can't walk up to a citizen not committing a crime and demand ID. That's not how this works.
Okay. Yes, you know the law more than
I do, actually.
Yeah, apparently he does, actually. Yes. Yes, you fucking boot. No way. She just got out of field training on her first day on the job and she doesn't even know what she's doing. I do GTA roleplay and I made a cop character and I think my cop character is better than all these real law enforcement. That's the scary part. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah.
My supervisor is on his way, and we'll talk with you.
Hard to believe a citizen out here would actually have a degree and know what they're talking about, huh? It's all right. We're going to stop all this corruption.
You doing all right?
I don't answer questions.
Okay.
I don't answer
Especially
questions.
when I'm being illegally detained.
Well, I already told you you're free to go. So if you'd like to leave.
Am I free to go?
If you want to go, you don't want to talk to a supervisor?
Am I free to go or am I detained? I need an answer. I'm not detained.
Just so you know, sir, this is the Jackson Police Department. So there's
Great.
gates and everything, the fence and everything.
Great.
Just don't enter into that fence.
That's
okay?
fine.
Cool.
So I'm on the sidewalk. It's where I've been the whole time before I was harassed.
More than welcome to stay there.
So
Go.
once again, you've been proven wrong by your own coworker here.
You have a great day, sir.
I'm having a great day.
Me too.
I'm not breaking the law. I'm right here on the sidewalk in public, exercising my constitutional right. Wow.
So what happens? How does he get back here?
Corruption at its finest.
Shortly after being released, the supervisor arrives on scene.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Name and badge number, please, since you approached me.
Sergeant Biscuits.
All right.
What's going on today?
I've been released. Are you detaining me again?
So you're not detained?
Okay, thank you.
Over the next couple minutes, Mr. Bulldog films the plates of the cruisers to document who was on scene before attempting to mount his bike and leave. But as he returned to it, he was detained a second time.
All right, guys, we're looking through your capable handling. I hope you have a great day, bud.
Hey, sir. The officer asked you for your name and the information.
What crime do you suspect me of?
Well, like she explained to you, she's investigating suspicious activity.
Suspicious isn't a crime.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know y'all wish it was, but it's not.
Okay. Are you going to give her your name and information?
No, I haven't committed a
What do
crime.
you plan on doing, sir?
I'm doing my job, trying to, without being harassed.
Okay.
I'm just gathering content for a story, and y'all want to harass me over it.
Okay. What's your job? You're a writer?
Obviously, I'm a journalist.
Okay. Well, how is that obvious?
I'm gathering content for a story.
Okay, well,
Who else
everybody
does
with a
that?
cell
Do
phone
mechanics
isn't a
do that?
journalist, sir.
Excuse me?
I said everybody with a cell phone isn't a journalist.
If they choose to be, they are. It's in the Constitution.
Okay. Cell phones make you a journalist?
If that's what you choose to do, yeah.
Okay.
Awkward. This is so awkward. This is so awkward. They don't even know how to handle it. At this point, if you don't know how to handle this, you should just let them be. Because there legitimately isn't any reasonable suspicion. So why they're, you know, again, another ego trip, because they should have just let him go. Like, is it worth the hassle? Is he actually doing something criminal? No. Have a good day, man. It's like, why waste the energy? But here they are, butthurt. Then they want to get an ID on them. So they're going to keep pressing the issue.
I mean, like I said, I'm investigating suspicious activity.
That is a supervisor,
Suspicious
yeah.
isn't a crime.
People about sending reporting.
Fully
Ask for
legal.
identification. If law enforcement asks for the identification, you are required to identify
You are
yourself.
not. Why am I not in jail right now, then?
Because we're trying to not go that route by you not identifying yourself. So technically,
You see, I got bail money. So, I mean, if y'all really want to press it.
so technically, I can arrest you right now for resist obstruct delay. You're obstructing my
I'm not
investigation.
as, no, I haven't
Delaying my
obstructed anything.
investigation.
I don't have to help you in your investigation.
In North Carolina, officers have access to a book titled Crimes. It lays out the elements of a crime so that an unsure law enforcement officer can do their due diligence and be sure that they don't make an unlawful arrest. The book explores each element and provides examples of when the statute is not to be used. For example, Element 1 shows a person can walk or even run away from an officer if the police-initiated encounter is consensual. But Element 2 is going to be the one that wins this lawsuit. It begins by explaining Hybel, a Supreme Court decision that held that a person who had been stopped on reasonable suspicion of a crime must disclose his name. However, it continues to state that unlike Nevada, North Carolina does not require a person to disclose his or her name under similar circumstances, and that in the absence of such a statute, that a person's mere refusal to disclose his name is insufficient to support a
Check
charge
and
of resist
mate.
obstruct delay. And all things considered, this book is talking about when an officer has reasonable suspicion. But in this encounter, as we mentioned earlier, they have not yet met the standard.
Yeah.
But the worst part is that most agencies in North Carolina carry this book in their patrol car, so they can refer to it when they are uncertain of the law. You can also find copies at the police station.
Yo, they got the cheat manual in the fucking cruiser and they still don't know the laws. Oh my God. I'm never going to North Carolina. Yo, they literally got the textbook in the fucking cruiser and they don't even know it. That's even crazier. Oh my God. How? This doesn't make sense, bro. How do they get hired to be officers? The main factor for being an officer should be the law. You have to know the laws. It's like, what do they do? You go to the academy for a couple of weeks, run a mile and a half, do a stupid, cheesy obstacle course, and then they give you a badge? Like, what is happening in these police training academies that people are getting through to be officers and don't even know the law? Your whole premise of you being out there is to enforce laws, yet you don't even know what the fuck they are or how they are applied properly. And you just, we can arrest you because it's always the same shit. Resisting, what else do they use a lot? It's like a catch-all. Resisting, pretty much resisting. That's usually, and some other ones that they'll throw in there just to use it to catch your ass.
and even on the prosecutor's desk, leaving plenty of wiggle room for these officers to look it up.
I don't have to help you identify anyone. That's helping your investigation. That's your job. That's what I pay you to do.
Sir, you understand that she's just trying to gain your compliance, right?
That's not my
I
problem.
don't want to take you to jail, but also, I'm doing my
Obstruction.
I clearly
Thank
do,
you,
because
Josh.
this is a legal, constitutionally protected activity that you're harassing me over. And then you're lying to me, telling me I have to submit ID to any officer that asks. No, that's incorrect. If you suspect me of a crime and you can articulate it, then yes, I will surrender ID.
Let me clear it.
We can clear it up in court.
We're not in court, sir.
We can be very easily.
I would like to avoid that.
I would rather not, because this is going to keep happening until you guys are taught a lesson.
What's that, sir?
That you can't bully people into giving ID when you don't suspect a crime.
Sir, nobody is trying to bully you intentionally.
She just told me she could take me to jail if I don't give her my ID.
What she's trying to make sure you understand is when law enforcement are investigating something.
They can investigate whatever you want. You have to suspect me of a crime. What crime do you suspect me of? All she can articulate is suspicion, not a crime.
You're gonna listen, sir? You ask me questions. You want the answers?
Not really. I know the answers. You think I would come out here and not know?
You asking me questions.
See if you know them.
He got the evil villain laugh. He's like, I got these motherfuckers. I got them.
Trust me, I do.
You clearly don't. Like, you see the time, like, you realize this is costing me job money right now? You're costing me time?
Keep your hand out of your pockets.
No problem.
So he resorts to keep your hands out the pockets. They're just
Am I
waiting for
detained
the.
or am I free to go?
Right now, you're detained. sir.
Okay. For what crime do you suspect me of?
Because she's following up on investigation.
What crime do you suspect me of?
Suspicious activity.
It's not. So
That's-
suspicion is a crime.
Are you going to give her your name and information?
No.
Turn off your hands back.
Okay.
Mr. Bulldog was arrested and charged with resist, obstruct, delay.
Oh
With
yeah,
the incident-
there's the other one. I said resisting, right? And obstruction. Those are like the two most bullshit things that they use just to get you, back you up. If nothing else, they can get you on.
report fails to give additional information.
Resisting public officer. See, on or about the date of offense shown in the county named above, the defendant lawfully and willfully did resist, delay, and obstruct, glance a public officer holding the office, blah, 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 by failed to identify oneself after being asked multiple times at the time the officer was discharging and attempted to discharge an official duty by investigating suspicious behavior. That is so generic, bro. Oh my God. Again, when I role play as my cop character in GTA roleplay, I write more detailed reports in role play than these motherfuckers in real life, bro. Oh my God. We're at the beginning of 2024. I'm already getting stressed, y'all. This is going to be a long year.
It states that Mr. Bulldog, quote, failed to identify oneself after being asked multiple times.
Can't.
Further stating that at the time the officer was discharging and attempting to discharge an official duty by investigating suspicious behavior, literally copying the statute as her narrative. And so it appears that none of the officers ever looked at the book regarding the charge. But that's what happens when you hire 20-year-olds with GEDs.
Oh, here we go. I knew she looked young. Yo, like, I'm going to keep it a buck. Certain fields, career fields, there should be age minimums because you need a certain level of maturity. Being 20 years old as a cop, unacceptable. Full stop. It's different than the military, because I know somebody will be like, well, you go in the military. I was 17 when I went in the Marine Corps. But what's fundamentally different when you go into the service is that you have superiors that are like on you. You live in a confined area. It's much more structured and there's much more oversight. Not saying it's perfect, but 20-year-old as a cop when you're on the cruiser by yourself is crazy. Imagine 20 years old, you know the shit I was doing at 20 years old, how reckless it is? And I gotta believe a 20-year-old that's got a badge and a gun is gonna have the mental fortitude to decipher stuff, understand and comprehend things. Are you crazy? How is this even legal to be 20 years old as a cop? To me, this is unacceptable. Now, having a high school degree, that's fine. There should be an age though. You should be at like 25 minimum to be a cop. You know what I mean? 25 minimum.
and hand them a weapon and power over their peers. In fact, it's become so common for officers to not understand the law that law firms are writing articles on their websites about how common it is. Mr. Bulldog says that during booking, Officer Glantz told him that she wasn't going to take his fingerprints, and at first he didn't understand why, until he saw the magistrate and was refused bond because he had no fingerprints on file. And so it's alleged that Officer Glantz was attempting to manipulate the system to keep him in jail with no bond for much longer than normal. As you would expect, Mr. Bulldog intends to fight this charge, and to follow up the civil rights violations with a complaint against the officers which will go nowhere, and then a well-deserved lawsuit. And with that, the court of public opinion is now open. As the jury, let me know what you think of this interaction. Do you expect more from your law enforcement officers? Or is this acceptable?
Unacceptable. I already said what I had to say. Hiring practices and the lack of training that these police departments offer, it's downright terrible for citizens, and it's actually bad for those people that become officers. They're not getting the proper training, resources, and education to fulfill that job in the way that it needs to be done. It's a disservice to everyone, because believe it or not, we do need good cops. We do need, but they don't get the training. It's crazy because they get a bulk of the city budgets. I'm in Chicago. The Chicago city budget, a couple years ago, I looked at it. I haven't looked at it recently, and I'm sure it's only gone up. But maybe 5 years ago, I did a video about it. And at that time, the mayor had a budget of $1.9 billion roughly for Chicago Police Department. You heard me? $1.9 billion. And I might be off a little bit, but it was definitely a billy, right? Minimum. Just for our police department in Chicago. Meanwhile, health and human services, family services, all these other areas of social services that people really need had not even a percentage of the budget. It's so far off, and it's crazy. It's like, okay, if they got $1 million budget, how are they still lacking in training? How are they still lacking in? So where's the money going? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.